Hello, I'm Shokei. I've been making Noh masks for about 40 years. And based on that experience, I'd like to show you the basics of how to make a Noh mask. The name of this mask is Zo, or Zoana, made by me. I will introduce the basic technique for making this mask. By using a block of Japanese cypress wood like this. Let me explain the Noh mask making process in 3 steps: wood carving, painting, and finishing. The first step is wood carving. Here are the tools to be used: saw, mallet, hand drills, drill braids, chisel, which are many types of chisels available, from those for rough cutting to those for detailed processing. Other items include files and rasps, awls, curved measure, calipers, compasses, and branding irons. Next, let me introduce the pattern papers to be used: a face pattern, a side face pattern, and horizontal patterns. The horizontal patterns, from top to bottom, are forehead number 1, forehead number 2, above the eyes, eyelids, under the eyes, nostrils, highest point of the nose, under the nose, upper mouth, lower mouth, jaw line, and tip of the chin. Let me trace the outlines of the face pattern and the side pattern onto the wood block. Furthermore, the face pattern has straight lines indicating where horizontal patterns will be used, and these straight lines are copied onto the block. Pull the saw along each straight line copied onto the block of wood. The sawing depth should be up to the position of the side face pattern written on the block. Next, let me scrape off any unnecessary parts on the side of the block so that they are perpendicular to the face. This is the result of the processing so far. Next, let me trace the outline of this pattern from the top of the head to the part of ear. Furthermore, using another pattern like this, the outline is traced onto the side of the block of wood from the cheek to the chin. This pattern has a curve that envelopes all the shapes in the horizontal direction. For example, this pattern envelopes the shape at the highest point of the nose like this. Let me place this pattern on the side of the top of the head and trace about half of the outline. Let me draw a straight line for the remaining half to the point around the ear. The unnecessary parts to be removed are indicated by diagonal lines. The part above the traced curve is the unwanted part, so let me remove it parallel to the vertical direction of the face. This is the result. Next, while checking the vertical pattern in place like this, cut the center part of the face vertically. This is the result of processed surface coinciding with the vertical pattern on the center line of the block. Next, let me process from the forehead to the chin by using all horizontal patterns. When doing this, it is important to smooth out the spaces between each adjacent horizontal pattern continuously, and to work while imagining the facial expression. This is the result. Then, after polishing the surface with sandpaper, the details of the eyes, nose, and mouth are processed, and holes are drilled into each one to a depth of several centimeters with a drill bit. The result is this. Once you have completed this step, stop working on the front surface, and start carving the back. Let me draw curved lines about 1 centimeter away from each surrounding area, and then let me carve the inside of that curve where diagonal lines are indicated. Let me dig until the holes for the eyes, nose, and mouth appear, then dig further, preferably to a depth of a few millimeters, but be careful not to penetrate all the way to the front surface. Later, let me dig around the eyes, nose, and mouth. On the other hand, the head and chin areas are thus left several millimeters thicker than the facial edge. Generally, back carving is done in a way that leaves traces of the chisel, but Shokei is finished smoothly so that no chisel marks remain. Once it is smooth, it is pressed branding. Next, a hole is drilled a few millimeters in diameter on each side near the ear. In the extension of the eye. After that, the lacquer is applied, and the result looks like this. The lacquer I use is called water-based craft urushi. The painting process is as follows: put 100 grams of glue-containing whitewash and a very little of powdered Japanese red paint into a mortar. And gradually pour in 300 grams of lukewarm water while stirring well. The glue-containing whitewash and red paint are shown here. The liquid whitewash is painted onto the surface of the mask by using a brush. Once it has dried, another coat of the liquid whitewash is applied. This painting process is repeated over a dozen times to create multiple coats of liquid whitewash. This is the result. Next, let me color the hair, eyebrows, eyelines, and lipsticks. To draw hair, first transfer the hair pattern paper onto the surface. Then, using black ink and a brush like this, let me start with light black ink and gradually apply darker ink. Next, let me draw the eyebrows. Following the position and shape of the eyebrows drawn on the face pattern, let me start from the lighter black ink and gradually apply darker ink. For the eyelines and eyes, start with a light black ink and gradually make it darker and apply layers. For the lipstick, let me use the paint of vermilion base with a little black ink and whitewash mixed in, so that it is neither too dark nor too light, like a middle-aged woman. The result of the above coloring is like this. The final coloring process is the application of antique color. For this process, a wire mesh like this one and a strong brush are used. And let me make the antique color liquid from boiled pine or cedar bark with a small amount of ink added. After all the painting steps are completed, it will look like this. Next, let me use a solid wax like this to polish the surface politely and thoroughly. Apply wax to the entire surface, then buff the surface with a dry, soft cloth. Waxing creates a three-dimensional effect like this. Finally, thread the string through the holes in the ears to complete the look.